Hello there. Well, we've got a fairly easy walk today. It's about 6 miles and it's quite close to where I stay. Well, it's not that close, but it's this is going to save me spending umpteen hours on any number of buses. I've just got a couple of buses along the road. We've started in Old Kilpatrick, which is where the Erskine Bridge crosses over the River Clyde. And if you get off the bus just at the bridge, you'll instantly see a sign pointing towards the Old Kilpatrick Hills, and it'll take you through a kind of bit of woodland up towards the railway station and eventually to this spot here. And it is well signposted, you know. I was quite surprised. Quite often you get so-called paths and kind of routes that are just lacking in signage, but very well signposted, I have to say. And we're going to head up Kilpatrick Brae into the Kilpatrick Hills. There's a trig point on the Slacks, I think they call it, and then we'll cross over, I think it's Loch Humphrey's burn or something like that, a kind of waterway that leaves Loch Humphrey. I don't know where that name came from. There's probably a Lord Humphrey involved somewhere at some point. Yeah, and we'll come down that kind of burn and head back into civilization. As I say, it's about 6 miles, so it's fairly straightforward. And what I hope to get out of it is just great views across the River Clyde, maybe down into Bowling and what have you. You know, nice walk, lovely views. What more could you ask for? I sometimes think that we forget or neglect local things. I know that earlier on I said that this is a kind of local walk for me. It's not that local. I mean, I stay in Partick. We started in Old Kilpatrick, which is between Clydebank and Dumbarton, but it is more local than most of the other walks and videos that I have created. And you know, it's almost like museums and visitor attractions. We're always keen to tell folk how good they are, and every weekend when we've got time off, we'll go somewhere else. We'll head in a bus or a train and travel somewhere. And more often than not, we haven't actually visited the museums or the visitor attractions that we so love, apparently, for a long time. And then perhaps if we paid a bit more attention to them, we would get to love them more. It's the same with walks and your local area and the countryside around you. Instead of getting on a bus and going somewhere else, just think about what's in your local area. I mean, it's hard to imagine that it could get better than this, to be honest.
I first spotted this walk when wandering around Bowling Harbour. The harbour itself is just a nice place to wander around. There's an intriguing mix of brightly coloured vessels still in use and rusting skeletal hulks that steam in the sun when exposed at low tide.
Okay, so we're up on top of a kind of moor here. We've kind of left the steep brae behind, and I'm hoping that at some point there'll be a path that'll head off to the right that will lead up on top of that kind of... I think I can actually see a trig point somewhere up in the kind of... just somewhere to my right. But there's no way I'm crossing that land there, the moor, without a path. It'd be too much of a struggle. So let's see if we can find a path. Well, it wasn't difficult spotting that path. I've got Loch Humphrey, or Humphreys, or whatever it is, on my left. And we're following this path, and I can see the little kind of bump on top of this moor with a trig point on it, which is where I'm heading for. Well, that's us at the top of this moor. From here we'll head down to Greenside Reservoir, cross over Loch Humphrey Burn, I think it's called, and then pick up a track that will take us down to civilization and Faifley, and that'll be us done. You know, it's just so good to be out here amongst all this stuff. Very hard to explain how much I just love being here. Not just here, anywhere that was full of all this green stuff. It's just beautiful. Beautiful. Well, you can see the track on the other side of Loch Humphrey Burn, and that track will take us down to Faifley, where we'll end today's walk. And I have to say, it's just been a lovely little walk out here in what feels like the middle of nowhere, with the Glasgow splayed out before us in the distance. And you know, at the other side of the burn there, I can see a track continuing on, and I'm almost in one of those moods where I could just keep going. I never stop walking, you know, one of those kind of moods. But I'll stick with my plan. Maybe another day I'll carry on and head in that direction. I could see that there was another loch. There's a series of lochs, water reservoirs probably more than likely. You know, it's a funny thing, but I was talking earlier on about how we don't make enough use of things that are near us, whether it's museums or visitor attractions or just the general countryside in our local area. And since I said that, all I've done on this walk is bump into folk. There's just been a lot of folk, you know, and I can only presume that these are local folk who live in the Old Kilpatrick and the Faifley areas, and who are making use of this land that's on their doorstep. So it looks as if what I said earlier on was just a load of nonsense, and maybe it's just me that's the only person who sits on buses for hours going to far-flung places to have a wee walk, when I could just come along the road and have all this stuff. And just behind the camera, there's another, there's a sign there saying Path Greenside Reservoir, which is where I think that's the reservoir that we came down from. So there's paths all over the place, and they're all well signposted. But I'm sensing that Tarmac could be just around the corner, and Faifley, which is where we're ending. In fact, I'm ending it here. I'm ending the video right now, in fact. So, you know, Tarmac, civilization, and I'm sure Faifley's as civilised as they come. I'm Eddie Burns. I'll see you again.